Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Laura, and today I'm sharing some of my book collection. And now these books, they're not first editions and they're not vintage books, so they're just more books that are some kind of special edition in some way or other. But to be honest, I also just have like two just normal books mixed in here, so it's just part of my book collection. So these videos, these special edition book videos, tend to be a bit of a hodgepodge. And I'm going to get started with one I have that is a children's book, and that is this compilation of different stories by Beatrix Potter. And now I would love to own some of the original books of these, because you can buy these individual stories as their own book, and I would love to get those someday. There's some that you can get that aren't too expensive. Obviously, like original Peter Rabbit is expensive, but there's others that are cheaper. But here are some of the illustrations from this book. And then you have the back, which is really pretty. Sorry, the glare. But Beatrix Potter was a big part of my childhood. And they have like cartoons of it where they take illustrations like this and turn it into a cartoon. And so I watched the cartoons and I read the books. And I also just loved her drawing style and learning about her. And I draw as well. And so, yeah, she was a real inspiration to me. And there was a time where I used to want to be a children's book author and illustrate my own books. And I actually started on one of my own a couple of years back. And then I wasn't happy with how the drawings were looking. And then I just stopped. But I should get back into that, because that still is a dream of mine, is being an author of children's books. That just seems, that's like a dream job. So I just need to commit the time to doing the illustrations. But anyway, so I'm really happy to have this edition of this, these various stories. And yeah, eventually on this channel, I will probably be sharing, like early editions of the actual books, because I would love to start collecting those. But yeah, so for now, this is my the complete tales of Beatrix Potter. Up next is another book that is not a special edition, really. It's just a normal edition. And that is 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup. And I covered this in my nonfiction book recommendations, because this is a book that I think everybody should read. Yeah, especially if you're American, obviously, because slavery is a part of our American history, as terrible as it is. And Solomon Northup was born a free man in the North, and then he was kidnapped and sold into slavery and spent 12 years as a slave before getting out. And so, yeah, it's not a light read, but it's one that I think is worth reading. Yeah, so I wanted to buy it, even though it's actually hard to find like vintage copies of this book. So I wasn't able to find any that were especially old, but I should probably just search around a bit more and try to find one. There is an Easton Press edition of this book that I would love to buy, but on eBay, it's like $200. So I don't know, that's so much money for just one book. So for now, I have this one, but highly recommend. And up next is an early edition of a book. So this is If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin. And so this book was released in 1974. And this is the fourth printing of the first edition. So it is a very early edition. And, to buy a true first edition is obviously expensive, but a fourth edition is pretty good. So I'm happy with it. And I also have the paperback to go along with it. And this is the first edition in paperback. So I have the paperback plus this one. And yeah, this is an amazing book. Highly recommend. Also, the audiobook is one of my favorite audiobooks, narrated by Bonnie Turpin. And she is incredible as a narrator. But yeah, this is a fantastic book. It is the only book by James Baldwin I have read so far. I keep meaning to read Go Tell It on the Mountain, but I have not yet gotten around to it. But yeah, so this is an early edition printing of the first edition that I was really excited to get. And it's in great condition. It has the price sticker, but that's not too bad. So yeah, If Beale Street Could Talk. Up next is actually a series of books that I have, and it is the Southern Reach Trilogy. And I do own these all together in hardback. So this is like the hardcover edition. I prefer hardcover from my book collection. I love the look of hardcover, but I love these covers. So I wanted to get them in paperback as well. I'll show them one by one. There's Annihilation, Authority, Acceptance. and they're shiny too, as you can see. So yeah, and this series is so good. I highly recommend it. And so it's one that I love so much. I want to have multiple editions. And so I'm glad that I have the hardcover as well as the paperbacks. And this one is extra special because I got it signed by the author and it is made out to me. So I just think that's so cool. I have, I think, just one other book that is signed by the author, but I bought it used and he made it out, you know, to someone else, whoever had it signed. But this one, I actually ordered it online through Midtown Reader, and Midtown Reader is a library in Florida where Vandermeer lives. And so you can order signed copies of the books. So it's not as cool as if I met him and had him sign it, but I did order it and had it make out to me personally. So it's still pretty cool, right? And these stories, so Annihilation in particular follows the perspective of the biologist. And I don't want to give away too much of the plot here. I actually have a video where I give book reviews, an in-depth book review for each of these books. I will link to it. But so this one is about the biologist primarily. And in Authority, some other characters are introduced. And then in Acceptance, you know, we have one new character is introduced in Acceptance, but for the most part, we're keeping with the people we have gotten to know in the first two books. However, we do return to the biologist through her journal entries. And so that's why I love what he wrote on here. The inscription is, the biologist says hi from somewhere. So I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, I am so happy to own these. I don't think any of these are actual, because these are true first editions, because when these books came out, their first editions were paperback. However, none of these books in particular that I have are actual first editions. I didn't really pay attention to that. I wish I would have, but I just kind of bought what was available. So yeah, none of these are first editions. So that's kind of a bummer, but I don't know. I really got them just because I love the covers. But yeah, these are amazing books. Like I said, if you want more of a detailed review, I give a detailed review and just my thoughts about it in my Southern Reach trilogy video. But just for now, so good. They are very cerebral and, you know, super sci-fi, like just with how heady it all is. And it really requires concentration when you read it. Maybe not this one so much. I don't know. But yeah, one of my favorite series. I love it so much. I just started his Ambergis series. I'm probably saying that wrong, but that trilogy is City of Saints and Madmen, Shriek, and Finch. So I just started City of Saints and Madmen. So I'm really excited to get into that one. And my next book is a Folio Society edition, which Folio Society has such beautiful books. This one is not quite so beautiful because I bought it used on eBay and I paid $15 for it. So that should have given me a hint as to the condition it was in, because it is not in good condition. It is Jane Eyre, and this book sleeve is falling apart. And this is from ~65, so it's not even that old. If this was like super old, then it would make sense, like more sense that it's in bad shape. But yeah, look at it. Oof, like it is not doing well right there. But yeah, so it is a Folio Society edition of Jane Eyre. And like I said, I love Folio Society. They have such beautiful books and they're illustrated and they each are colorful. And I have another one I'll be showing you. So I'd love to buy more, but they are more expensive. So unless you buy them secondhand, but even secondhand, they can be pricey. And also the other thing with this book is I don't love the illustrations, but yeah, here's an example of one of them. So they're definitely unique. I'll give it that. But yeah, Jane Eyre is an incredible book. I've read it twice. It's amazing. So well written. It's just so evocative. That's the word I used to describe it last time. But she just really, Charlotte Bronte just brings everything to life. Like she brings the places to life, and the way she describes it, like you feel the emotions Jane feels, like the emotions that a place will make Jane feel like you feel. I feel like I did not word that well, but anyway, unlike me, Charlotte Bronte is very good at wording things. So yeah, it's a beautiful book. It's amazing. It's obviously so iconic. like everybody knows the story. And even if you don't know the story, chances are you've heard of it. But yeah, my Folio Society of Jane Eyre, which has seen better days. Up next is a Folio Society edition I was so excited to get. And this one is selling online for like a minimum of $100, minimum. And I found it for $60, which, I mean, it's still kind of expensive for a book, relatively speaking, but compared to, you know, the other prices, I thought, yeah, I was pretty excited about it. Anyway, it is Folio Society edition from 1999 of The Count of Monte Cristo. And this one is in great condition. So we have the book sleeve. And just look at that cover. And I love The Count of Monte Cristo. I have not covered it yet on my podcast, but I will be doing that in 2022. Not sure when, probably like spring or summertime, but yeah, so I was so excited to get this in a Folio Society edition. It's so beautiful and the drawings are so intricate. So like, check out that drawing. So yeah, I am so excited for this. Also, Folio Society will have like a different color for the top. So that's cool. So this one, they went with red. But yeah, this book is huge. It is like so heavy to hold. It's over 1,000 pages. The audiobook is like 50 hours long or something, which, I mean, I know there's longer books out there, but still that's pretty long. But so I've read the abridged version once when I was younger. And then a couple of years ago, I read the full unabridged version and it's amazing. Once again, this and Jane Eyre, like there's a reason why like hundreds to like 200 years later almost, people still talk about it. And it's because it's fantastic. So yeah, my Folio Society edition from 1999. And yeah, you can find these for sale, specifically on eBay. I actually got this on Etsy, which is kind of random, but it was someone on Etsy that was selling her books. But yeah, you can find it for sale on eBay or Abe Books. But like I said, the ones I came across were all like $100 minimum. So yeah, I got lucky and got it for cheaper. And yeah, oh man, I have a lot of books that I'm just like so proud to own. And this is the most recent one. It came in the mail yesterday. So this is my most recent one that I'm just like, oh, like I'm just so happy to have it. And I saved the best for last on that one. And so that wraps it up for today's like special edition video. And so yeah, I post these kind of videos every Sunday where I show off part of my book collection. And I'm going to do a video. So I've separated them out into like my first edition books, my vintage books, my special edition books, such as today's video. And then I also have one where if I collect a specific book and have multiple editions of that book, where I share my multiple editions. So I think like Green Knight, I have multiple editions of the Green Knight. So that was last week. And then, yeah, and then I recently got multiple different editions that are all Easton Press. So I'm going to do an Easton Press video. These are the only two Folio Society books I have, but down the line when I get more, I will do a Folio Society book. But yeah, I'm all about collecting awesome books, whether they're awesome because they're old or because they're first editions or whatever. So definitely subscribe to my channel if that is something that interests you and that you would like to see. Yeah, I guess that wraps it up. I would also love if you would comment on my videos. I love interacting with the people that are watching these and getting to know you guys more as well. And I have Instagram if you want to follow me there. I will link to that down below too as well. But yeah, I'm sort of just like rambling now, so I'll wrap this up and I will see you guys next time. Bye.